Okay, so the re-life update has finally came out, and I'm going to be going over the homestead upgrades. So the homestead changes that the re-life update has caused are we can now plant poison herbs, mandrake herbs, and white herbs on our homesteads. And then there's the Magmel honey pond, and there's the old spiderweb stir or stump. It's kind of cut off here, but it says the full thing up here. Okay, so you need 30 poison herbs and 5 homestead stone to create each patch. And the same goes for mandrake and white herbs. So I'm on my main character today because my main character is the only one with a homestead that is level 13 or higher. And you need a level 13 homestead or higher to plant these new items. And it says level 13 right by the items. So first we're going to finish up my herb garden. Herb gathering is what originally got me interested in homestead work, so when I started on this account about 7 or 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I started with the herb patches. Those were some of the first things I put on here. And now I'm going to be adding more herbs and finally finishing this out. So I'm going to start with white herbs. I've already gathered the herbs I need in advance for what I want to do. So I have my mandrake up here, and my poison herbs here, and my white herbs here. Alright, let's get started. So I'm going to put a white herb patch over here. And then another one over here. So I'm going to be planting a total of 8 white herb patches and 8 poison herb patches on my homestead. And then after that, I'm going to be planting 10 patches of mandrake herbs. That's what I planned to do. And there are lots of different ways that you can go about getting these herbs. You can use one of those, you can use that pet that you can gather herbs from, or you can go into dungeons or special areas to find white herbs. I got my white herbs from hunting down hornets in the Silva Forest, because if you kill like those hornets, sometimes a herb patch will appear, like a glowing white spot where you can gather white herbs. And that's how I got the white herbs I needed. And I needed 240 to make 8 patches. And then there are other places where you can like gather your poison and mandrake. But I got my poison and mandrake from doing rafting. You can use stars from rafting to buy poison and mandrake herbs. And a couple of other types of herbs as well. And I think it costs like 34 stars to get like 10 poison herbs or 10 white herbs. Okay, so that's all the white herb patches I want to make. Now we're going to make some poison herb patches. And I'm going to put those right behind the white herbs here. Okay, and now I have my 8 patches of poison herbs that I wanted. So with this, I'm going to be able to gather up to 40 white herbs and 40 poison herbs a day, because these refresh every real day at midnight. And now we're going to plant the mandrake. And I'm going to be planting 10 patches of these, so I'll be able to gather up to 50 mandrake a day. And those ones, I'm planting more of those because they're harder to find. Before they were kind of a pain in the butt to get, so now they won't be. Is that herb patch gonna cut into my pineapple? Well, I guess the leaf does a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't really care that much. And of course, if you don't have the necessary materials to plant these, then you can use pawn instead, but keep in mind it costs you 30 pawn. For the herbs, I figured I should just gather those myself. That's how I built my entire herb garden, and I don't want to change that. So now my herb garden is finally finished. This update did not include adding antidote herbs, so I don't know if those will ever get added, but I guess I'll find a way to make room if antidote herbs ever do get added to homesteads. So those are currently the only types of herbs that you cannot gather from your homestead. And yeah, this is my herb garden. These are golden ones. These ones are sunlight. These are red. These are blue. And then these 3 rows are base herbs. And I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but I'll plant that old spiderweb stump. I don't have the materials, so for this one I'm just going to use pawn, just so I can show it off. And show what it does. So I guess I'll just put that anywhere. So yeah, not enough materials, so I'll use pawn. Has a little spider in it. And then when that bar finishes, I can try gathering from it. So while I wait on that, I'm going to go back to my herbs here. And I won't do all of them in this video because that would just waste a lot of time, but what I like to do with my herb patches when I plant them is I like to click on them in editing mode and oh, okay, it is set to anyone. That's good. Does that apply to all the herb patches I planted? Okay, let's check the poison ones. Okay, it looks like all these herb patches that I planted are set, so anyone can farm them. Which is nice. I like to have it set to that so my friends can just come over here and get any herbs that they need. Or any random players that find my homestead too. Like, I don't really care if someone gathers the herbs from my herb garden or not. Like, it's big enough. I have no problem sharing them. Okay, so let's try gathering from the stump. Oh, I like the little spider icon there. So you can gather up to 20 times. So I'm assuming I can gather up to 20 webs then. And that's 20 times every real day. And I also have a bag that can gather spider webs, so I don't have to do that. There are some item bags that can pick up spider webs for you. So let's get all the webs we can from here. And these are helpful for things like tailoring. So yeah, at midnight, this will refresh. At midnight in IRL time. I like the way it looks. Like, it looks sort of like the mushroom stumps, but slightly different. So, no more sitting AFK in the Turconail graveyard while my doll bag picks up the webs that spiders leave behind. Now I can just get them from here. Okay, so that's all the webs for the day. And you'll get weird messages if you keep trying to gather. Let's see if there are more messages that you can get. You can feel 8 eyes glaring at you. That's funny, because it's a spider there. Alright. Well, that's enough of that. Okay, and that covers some of the re-life update.